Welcome to Life Talk 21, the show that is designed to inspire you, to motivate you, and to give you strategies to help you live in the 21st century. And not just live, but we want you to be successful. And I am your host, Eric Wortham, educator, behavior specialist, author, speaker, and disabled veteran. And today we want to talk about a subject that, I really have two titles for it. I got a title and then a subtitle. The title is We Do Too Much, and the subtitle is Cultic Mentality Causes Missed Blessings. Our cultic mentality causes missed blessings. And I just said this, we hear the young kids say that all the time. We do too much. I've started to say it, but that's basically what it is. We do too much. In the Christian world, we tend to go. A lot of times you hear pastors say that you're too spiritual. That has some truth to it, because we have to always remember that we're human. God made us human. And so we do have those human characteristics as well. And I want to define cultic first. When I say cultic, what am I talking about? Well, this is one of the definitions. It's a religion or religious sect generally considered to be extremist or false, with its followers often living in an unconventional manner under the guidance of an authoritarian, charismatic leader. Okay, that's basically what it is. We've seen it, throughout the years, and a lot of times, sometimes we show similar characteristics to being cultic, but we don't look at it that way. And so that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how we do too much. And first of all, I want to start out with the Republican Party, a party that was known for rule of law. And when you look at it now, I hate to think, but when I'm looking at it, that party has done a lot of damage. A party that I like too has done a lot of damage to themselves. I mean, credibility. I understand where they're coming from at times, not all the time, but at times. But the best thing to do to keep the party going is you should have, focus on trying to find somebody that can represent the party in a way that you can attract young people. Because this is what we know. The conservative mindset, is the minority. It really is. And so when you look at that, and then you look at the millennials, and you look at the generation after them, their kids, the biggest generation ever are the millennials, and they are, by large numbers, socialists. So when you look at that, that the hope for that party sustaining is to be able to attract young people, and it just has not been able to do a good job of doing that. And this is the thing. I heard somebody repeat the same thing that I was thinking. One of the problems that they have is that the hope is in the party, and it's not in God. This is the branch of our political system that's supposed to be Christian values. So, but this is the problem with them right now. Their hope is in the party or whoever the leader of the party is. That's their hope. If that person, like for example, now is Donald Trump, if he cannot force our agenda, into the package, if he cannot force our way of life, bring America back to what it used to be, make America great again, whatever, if he cannot do it, then God can't do it. That's the mentality that they have. And they won't say that because they don't think like that. But that's what they're doing. All of their hope is in the party and not in God. Okay? And that's the problem what they have. This is why they're willing to sell their souls to Donald Trump. And I think they've done a lot of damage to a party that was the party of Abraham. And I think it's just, I don't even know if that damage can be repaired, to be honest with you, because again, just the sheer numbers of the younger people, younger generations being socialists, I think they just did a bad job. But we have to, my Republican brothers and sisters, if you say you're a Christian, if you believe in God, you have to change your mindset, and you have to really put your trust in God and not in the person that's running, that's helping your policies, pushing through your policies. Because anytime you put your hope in man, it's going to be some failure. It's going to be some failure, And so if you have your hope and trust in God, and if the man that you believed in failed, then you still got God. But see, if your trust was in him, that person, then that's why we're looking at everything now is everything is going to hell, because your trust was in that person and not in God. Cultic mentality. Okay, charismatic, authoritarian leader, charismatic. And even though we don't say it's a religion, but it's the same type of form. They follow this guy. Just go back and look at the tapes of how some of these people characterized him before he was president. Called him all kind of names, characterized him all kind of ways. And all of a sudden they changed. The hope is in the party. And that's why the party is going to fail. Again, because Trump is the leader, and he calls, and let me tell you, and I don't even need to say that again, that we keep saying his Christian values, because he's not. That's a given. You can say all you want to, he's not. But this is the thing right here. We put our trust in that man, even though, because the Bible say you know them by their fruit. This is what he does. He promotes hate. He name calls. He lies consistently. He does a lot of illegal things with his business. Okay, that's the guy that we put our hope into. This guy. Okay, he once stated that he can kill someone in the streets of New York and his supporters will still follow him. Who don't believe that that's not true about the Republican Party now? I do. I see it. So that's that part of it. It's cultic. Our cultic mentality causes us to miss blessings. And yes, the party is in trouble. And yes, your ideals and your upbringings and all those things you believe in, yes, they're on the chopping block, to a certain degree, but you didn't help your case by hitching your wagon to an individual that is not God. You put more trust in him than you do in God. Okay, so I'm leaving that one now. Another thing, we do too much, and I'm not, trust me, I don't mean anything negative about people, but I just really want people to think. That's all. I just want to produce a measure of thinking in you to not just to accept anything. I was talking to a young lady a couple of weeks ago, and she was saying that she don't give her kids vaccines. And, I wanted to know why, because I don't understand it, but, I don't want to devalue what they believe. They believe what they believe. But see, her reasoning was because it's man-made. And she said it's not, God didn't have anything to do with the process, something on those lines. And, I just start to think, man, now, if most people that I know believe in a God that is sovereign, we believe in a God that the Bible tells us that He created the heavens and earth and everything there in it. The Bible tells us that after He created these things, He said, "It is good." So, number one, God created everything. Everything. Good, bad, whatever you want to call it. God created everything. That's what people that believe in a superior power, Christians, Islamic, uh, Muslim, uh, Jewish, we all believe in a sovereign God. And so, He created all things. So when you say something was man made, that's really not true because God made everything. And so for me, and another thing, the Bible also tells us that God gives gifts to men. So abilities, gifts, and talent, those things come from God. I don't care who the person is. Nero, back in the Bible, he was gifted leader. It came from God. Okay, it doesn't mean that he's listening to God, but his gift came to God because the gift came from God. And so, what I'm trying to say is that a lot of times we miss out on our blessings because we hang on to these things that if we just was to really think, Elder Haney, my mentor, one of the best men, people, period, that I know, uh, he once told me, first, he told me a couple of things that were just gems that stayed with me all of this time and has guided my path through life. But the first thing he said is, don't leave your brain at the door. When you come to the church, don't leave your brain at the door. God still wants you to think. And he also told me, this is how you do it, young man. You get up in the morning, you pray like everything depends on God. Then you go to work like everything depends on you. Hey, two things that he told me that I live by this day and things that we're not doing. So if God created everything, he gives ability and gifts to men, then that means the scientist, the ability that he has comes from God. The doctor, the ability and talent he has comes from God. Okay, the scientist that creates that vaccine using things that God created, okay, you know, those are all things that God created. And my topic is we miss our cultic mentality causes us to miss blessings. Okay, God does not, send when you need $1,000. He don't rain $1,000 out of the sky. We don't see people with withered hands and somebody go lay hands on them and all of a sudden their hand become whole. We don't see it like that. You know why? Because God has always used men to bless men. And so when you see the withered hand all of a sudden come whole, is because he had that operation that God gave the doctor ability to be able to do, and the equipment that was made by everything that the materials that God created. Our cultic mentality causes us to miss blessings. And I tell this joke. I've been telling this joke. I think I heard it, 20 years ago, and I still tell it because it makes sense and it's relevant. There's a pastor, and he has the faith to move mountains. And in his small town, there's a level 5 hurricane coming to the town, and so they know that it's going to flood out, right? And so the town is evacuated. And the pastor says, no, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to trust God. God is going to deliver me. Hallelujah. And so he stayed at the church and it started to rain. A few minutes in, the rain was already to his knees. So the people of the town, they still love their pastor. They sent a Hummer to go get him. Okay, so the Hummer comes and they say, hey, pastor, it started and it's going to get worse. And the pastor say, no, God is going to deliver me. No matter what you say, he's going to show up and show out. Hallelujah. So they leave in the Hummer. And so now, about this time, sometime later, it's up to his waist. Hey, so now they send a boat. People in the town send a boat. Y'all go get the pastor. He gonna drown over there. And so they come over, they pull up, and they say, Pastor, it's already at your waist. It's gonna get worse. Come on. Pastor say, no, even now God is going to deliver me out of this. Hallelujah. And so the boat leaves. All right. And so now the pastor has to cut a hole in the roof. He's on the roof holding on to the steeple. So the people of the town send a helicopter to come get him. So the helicopter is flying over. They put down their ladder. They say, come on, pastor, if you don't come now, you're going to drown. And the pastor says, even now God is going to deliver me. My God shall supply. And so the helicopter rolled off. The pastor dies, and he went to heaven because he still had faith. He believed, he confessed. So he went to heaven, but he was mad. And he was in line to see God. You have these people that want to see God. And so St. Peter say, okay, your time is up. And he goes to God, and he's furious. And God allows him to speak. And he say, God, you abandoned me. You didn't show up. I was trusting in you. And God paused for a minute, and then he looks at him and he say, I sent a Hummer, I sent a boat, I sent a helicopter. What more could I have done? That's my point. We miss our blessings because we hang our hat on these things that we find that we don't even understand. Sometimes it's something that people started. It sounds good. We're looking for something and we hang on to that. And it doesn't make sense because, again, when you're looking at a God that created everything, a God that gives ability and talent to all men, that's why doctors can do what they do. That's why lawyers can do what they do, because God gives us the ability. And so when you walk away from the things that God sent you, because your blessing is going to come through a man some kind of way. You can call, even if you're struggling, with your mortgage company, you call them. They're going to say, hey, we can work with you. We can extend some time. Those are how the blessings are going to come, through a man. And when you deny that portion, you deny the blessings of God. And again, we find portions of truth to hang on to, and we make a belief out of it, like washing feet. People have made a belief out of washing feet. They say you don't wash your feet, in the church. They have a ceremony where they wash feet. You're going to go to hell. Okay? Those are things that we build a whole ministry and belief off of those things, and we miss the blessings of God because we think those things are the way. And the last thing is, I just saw somebody that put out that if you don't call God by his name, you got to call him by his real name. And I'm like, number one, there is no real name for God. Those are titles or attributes. That's what they mean. They are titles or attributes. Because when Moses told God to go get his people, Moses say, who do I tell the people that is sending me? And he say, tell them I am sent you. That's it. So those are attributes. When we say Yahweh, Elohim, those are attributes of God, titles, but that's not his name. So for somebody, again, to have a belief, you don't call him Yahweh. That's defaming God. No, I think God, and I'm going to say this, and I feel comfortable saying this. I think God is pretty much like me. You know, you can call me Coach. You can call me Mr. Wortham. You can call me E-Dog. Some people do. You can call me Shape. You can call me World Dog, Big Dog, or Doc, as some people do. It doesn't matter what you call me, as long as you respect me for what I am trying to do and for who I am in Christ. Okay? So that's, we miss, we, as simple as that. We do too much. That's why our young people don't want to be a part of the Christian church to the most part, because we're not doing the things that they're reading about. They're smarter, they're reading, and they don't see those same things. We become cultic and we don't even realize it, but we do too much. Our cultic mentality is causing us to miss out on some major blessings and major moves of God. I'm Eric Wortham. Be all you can be by doing all you can do. Thank you. I was doing all kind of bad. What a quiet, tell him I need a verse. Get the few and tell